Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since we've done one of these, so let's do a prepper pantry haul. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple chapters in this video in case no one wants to hear me ramble, and they can skip just to the pantry haul reveal and what I have. And because I always go into explanation of why I picked some of the things I did and get kind of a little bit deeper than some other folks do, at least from my understanding, because people say I talk too much. All right, so a couple keynotes. The last video I did was a home grocery store. A lot of people see me do these hauls and they want to know, well, what does the rest of the pantry look like? And I did that video. I'll link it down in the description as well as a pinned comment. And as always, I look forward to your input. I want to address a couple of common questions that I get when I do these videos. One, is it good for you? Some of it is, some of it's not. I go shopping a lot at Aldi's. I go shopping a lot at Dollar Tree. I go shopping a lot at the local Winn-Dixie and some other stores where they're like more bulk food stores like GFS or Gordon Food Supply. If you have one of those, they're amazing, especially for spices and things of that nature. Also, I do utilize Sam's for certain things as well. You got to look for the best deals out there. The second question I get asked a lot is this long-term? Do you plan on keeping this stuff for the apocalypse, the zombie apocalypse, or whatever it may be that someone comes up with on in the comments? No, this is a working pantry. Some of this stuff goes into long-term, some of it doesn't. My long-term usually goes into buckets, and I do a lot of freeze drying now, so I freeze dry a lot of my own foods. So that goes into long-term. Of course, your rice, your beans, and things of that nature is other things that I do for long-term storage. In a working pantry, you want to utilize the products that you have, and you want to make sure that you are buying the stuff that you and your family eat, being if you have a daughter, a son, a grandma, a grandpa, and looking at their dietary needs and so on and so forth. Another big question that I get asked for people that are new to the channel is, do you garden? Do you grow your own food? Absolutely. We grow our own food. We have a gardening. I have a gardening playlist. I've grown everything you could possibly think of here in Florida, Zone 10A. As well as if you've been following my channel for quite some time, which a lot of you have been, which is awesome, you have seen our new off-grid journey. As we're building an off-grid location, we are also building a food forest, which has to do with permaculture and turning the woods into an edible landscape. I've gotten to the point where I'm only doing it twice a year now. That's why you don't see a lot of pantry hauls on the videos. You folks seem to really enjoy these. I would like to do more of them, but the thing is I keep my pantry pretty well stocked. Specifically, like the proteins behind me, the Keystone Meats. That's a lot of protein, the chickens, the beef, the pork, and all the other things that they offer. I focus in on the proteins and then also the other things. Things you also might want to look for is when it comes to spices, make sure you have a bulk amount of spices. The little spices in those little bottles are not cost effective. Buy the big spices and be able to fill those other spices over and over and over again. It will save you, hundreds, if not thousands of dollars within a couple of years. All that being said, if you do have any questions or concerns or, hey, that's not healthy, folks, I don't eat all this stuff. My daughter eats most of it, and my wife, and so on and so forth. We're a family of three for those who have asked. I will give you a total of what we spent on this grocery haul. And like I said, I'll dive into each and one of the different products and why I got them. If you're interested in looking at the whole shebang, you know what I mean? I did the home grocery store. Like, again, I will link that down below in a pinned comment. Or you can find it on my pantry haul, food preservation playlist down underneath my YouTube channel. All right, so the folks that skipped, or maybe you're watching the whole entire video, let's break down this pantry haul. Let's kind of start down here, what we got. And I do buy a lot of the flats just because I like to have specific numbers when I do things, and it just makes it easier to stack and count things. And it makes it easier to, when you're writing your dates on this stuff like that, like with black marker, or if you have a different dating system, it just makes it so much easier. So a lot of times we do a lot of baking. So I always like to stock up on sweetened condensed milk. We got 3 of those. And most of the stuff, I'll tell you, if I didn't get it from Aldi's, I'll let you know. But most of the stuff I got from Aldi's. And then we do this as well. Evaporated milk for cooking and baking, as well as for my father, who loves to have this inside of his coffee. He likes to use this instead of regular cream. I prefer to use heavy cream, but he likes the evaporated milk. As you can see, we got 1, 2, 3, so 9 of those. And then my favorite, black beans. I grow my own black beans, but I also like to stock black beans. And like I said, Aldi's is very affordable when it comes to buying stuff at Aldi's. They bought Winn-Dixie, so they're starting to expand. But I buy a lot of these black beans for the quick, instant meals when things are tough, especially during emergency situations. Instead of having to soak my black beans and to season them and to cook them, these you can pour right out of the can, heat up. If you got to use a fire, a grill, there's those options. You have ways to utilize this to feed your family. Protein, fiber, you know. And I buy a whole flat of those. All right, moving on to some more protein options here. We got, and I personally like the Brookdale chicken breast. I don't know, what do you guys think? Do you guys shop at Walmart, Aldi's, other local grocers? I look at what's the contents in some of this stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, what's the ingredients? Some of it's good, some of it's bad. But in a pinch, like I said, this stuff comes in handy. And as you can see, I bought 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of these to add to the collection that I have over there. I was running low. It doesn't look like I'm running low, but we go through a lot of chicken. You see, I got holes in here, and that's why this pantry is kind of large, or this prepper pantry haul is kind of large, or food haul, grocery haul, whatever you like to call this. I've learned over the years things that I miss and things that I need to fix, and that's why you'll see certain things, a few of this, few of that, because it helps. Again, let's go back to the baking. Look at these, are like half the price in most stores. They're Baker's Corner unsweetened chocolate bar, 100% cacao. Cacao. I always get it wrong. People will correct me down in the comments. It's done well. So, you know, going out there buying those bars of chocolate that say dark chocolate, they're like 90%, 70%, and you're paying $8 a bar. These are like $3, $4 max. And we buy a bunch of those to make healthy desserts for the family. That being said, Aldi's also has these things here. They've changed the color of it, but they're the dark chocolate. Now, they're not 100% like the other one. I forget what the actual percentage is on here. I'm trying to look here. I see it on here, dark chocolate. It may not say it, but these they melt down really quickly, and they make great for, like, if you're doing cookies or anything like that. Because sure, you can get lots of healthy foods, and the biggest issue is that if you have kids or grandkids, you know, you might want to make a snack or so that they can enjoy, especially in an emergency situation, to kind of calm everyone down and have that comfort food. Here's one thing that I forget a lot of times to get is tomato paste. Tomato paste, if you guys out there cook with tomato paste, you understand how tomato paste can come in handy. These things are pretty cheap. The best buy dates on these are, what, 2028, so a couple of years. Now, these things will I can probably get 7 to 10 years out of them. Only thing with tomato in cans is the acidity of the tomatoes, and eventually that acidity can eat through these cans. So you just want to be cognizant of, you know, when you stock things, and make sure that you have that first in, first out. So I got, what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of those. And let's go ahead and move over here. This is definitely, I do not eat this. I personally do not eat these, but kids and grandkids will eat this stuff, and they're always asking, hey, they prefer this over the Franco-American and the other brand, and they're pretty cheap. I don't know what the dates on these guys are, July 2027. I've had some of these 4 or 5 years, open the cans up, and there's no issues. But just remember, anything acidic like tomato sauce, you wouldn't be cognizant of that stuff. And we got a whole flat of that, so that's 3 and 3 at 6, and that's 12. All right, moving back over here, I was very upset. So some people don't mind the Brookdale chili. I always get the chili with beans. Some people don't like beans. I like the added beans in there. With that, we'll add some of that Keystone ground beef to make chili, either the big one or the small one, because that helps. But I only got 3 of these. because there's another brand of chili that I prefer, but they didn't have it. But they did have my Sloppy Joe sauce. I do like the Manwich style. The Brookdale tastes really good. I bought every last can on the shelf, which you can see it's not very much. Let me see if there has a date on these guys here for you. November 20th, 2027. When I went there, they were on sale for under $1. And so I bought all the ones that they have left. I guess everybody else likes this stuff too. I bought the 9 that was left on the shelf. All right, moving on to some carbs. If you're diabetic, I know you want to stay away from carbs, but the Happy Harvest whole potatoes, we've shredded these, we've mashed these, we've made all different types of meals with these potatoes, and we've gotten really low on them. I think we only have about a dozen cans left. This is a non-acidic type of variety, and what I mean by that, not by the tomato itself, I mean the potato itself, but you can see, I think that one says 2028. But these have lasted. I've had these over several years when we overstocked on them when there's big sales. I've also freeze-dried these things, which were pretty interesting. Mash them up and freeze-dried like mashed potatoes and whatnot. But we use these. You can use these whole potatoes, especially if you're trying to grow potatoes and your potatoes, let's say you have the nematodes that destroy your crops or some sort of root fungus or any of that stuff like that, and you're down potatoes, but you want to make a potato meal, shepherd's pie, whatever it may be. This is a good option. And of course, we bought a whole flat of those, so you're going to get 12 out of those. And they were a good price point. All right, moving over to, let's go to, yeah, can't go wrong. A lot of folks know that I'm a Cuban descent. We buy a lot of this stuff like that. And we were a little bit low back here in some of our spices. I was kind of doing an inventory, and I've only got a few of them left, so I decided to restock back up. And again, Aldi's unfortunately has the, not unfortunately, but Aldi's has the best price. You get 8 packets in here if you like to use this on to season. Some of this other stuff was just random things. My daughter's asking, Dad, you know, can you just, I don't want to make salsa, I just want salsa. So I got her a couple salsas. I got her a small one in case, you know, this is a restaurant style, and this one is the chunky. I like to make fresh salsa personally, but you know, kids these days don't have the patience to wait. I did find this in there. I'm going to try. I only bought a couple to try. I will let you guys know my thoughts on this. This is specially selected maple syrup, grade, amber color, and rich taste. But the thing that really stood out to me is it says 100% pure maple syrup, product of Canada. Remember when maple syrup shot up to almost $20? So we're going to check this stuff out. We prefer to use this versus the corn syrupy syrups that you can get that are American-based companies, and like your Aunt Jemima's and stuff like that. Sure, they taste good, but they're mostly corn syrup versus something that's more natural. So if you're going to sweeten stuff up, sometimes either use honey or maple syrup. And this is Canadian. I think it was like $4 and change for each one of these bottles. So we're going to check that out. If it's good, I'll report back to you guys and give you my feedback. All right, let's get into some pasta. All right, so let's take a look at pasta. My daughter is a huge fan of pasta. I mean, the carbs are there, folks. If you need the energy and you're an active person with an active lifestyle, carbs are not going to be as detrimental to you as they might be to other folks that are on a let's say they're on a low carb diet, or maybe they're diabetic, or you know, whatever the cases may be. Like I said, this is just my pantry haul for my family and the things that I bought. I'm kind of giving you guys some background to this. So what I do, they used to be in boxes. So I will take these bags and literally vacuum seal each one of these bags just to extend the shelf life of these pastas. Some people will freeze it because of the bugs and whatnot. Believe it or not, that's what I didn't say is rice. We went through a 5-gallon bucket of rice over the last year, so I bought another one. I'll be processing this rice. First, I'll freeze it, and then once after I freeze it, I'll pull it out, make sure it's dry, and then I will package these into 1-pound bags and then pump them into Mylar. I've done videos on how to do that if you're interested. To make rice will last 25 plus years if processed properly. But anyways, so I get her a variety of pack. As you can see, this is bow tie. This is more of that format. I think I got one other, the penne. Trying to see what I got here. Maybe I just got two varieties this time. But again, they used to come in a cardboard box. So now this is going to save me one less step and to process these for long term. The reason I even do that is just in case she gets on she doesn't want any pasta for a month or so, or maybe 6 months or so. The pasta is still going to be in a condition where she can utilize it 6 months to a year or 2 years or 3 years down the road. But she does move through this pasta pretty quick. So being that we're on the topic of pasta, sauce. You get, what is it called? Food fatigue. I know if you're really hungry and you're starving, you're going to buy whatever you're going to eat, or you're going to eat whatever you can find. I've seen people eat some really interesting things, but to touch on that, I buy a whole flat, but I buy a variety of flats or a variety of different flavors. So this is tomato, basil, and garlic. This is the meat sauce. This is the traditional. And this one I think is the 3 cheese. So when cooking your pasta, you have some variety there to spice things up. So that, to me, I like to buy a flat and just get a variety of the sauces. Again, they're dirt cheap at Aldi's. You can't beat that. I don't know if you have Aldi's in your neck of the woods or whatnot. Some people don't, some people do. But regardless, I bought some other sauce that was on sale. I'll show you here in a second. You can buy the Kraft variation of this or the Velveeta. To me, this tastes exactly the same. And we got a whole thing of that. Let me move the sauce off this. I wanted to get the sauce off it so you could actually see there's what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of those. And again, as you can see, you're seeing a common theme here: pasta, carbs, and some things that are healthy, some things that aren't. Like I said, it depends on your dietary restrictions and your needs. But this flat here, I usually stock up a couple of these, and what that does, it'll last me a year for quick meals for the grandkids, for my daughter, for family that prefers this kind of foods. I have it, so it helps. One thing I did come across that was on sale. I guess I should open this up so you guys can see what it is. I can get at least one of these open. Around the time that people get sick, sometimes if you don't have the time to make your own bone broth, if you're a hunter, or if you take the chicken from the store, whatever it may be, I do buy some of this bone broth. It has ginger and turmeric in it. So around the season when it gets cold and hot here in Florida, a lot of people get the sniffles, colds, and just putting one of these out there for them and have it readily accessible where they don't have to go to the store. It has protein. There's simple ingredients in there. There's not too much crap in there. Trying to see if I can find out where it is. Somewhere on there. Anyways, but you get the idea. Some of you guys have probably used this stuff. You can throw, I think this is microwavable, if I recall correctly, because it has all this lid on there and whatnot. But I bought this because it was on sale, and I know it helps a lot when folks are trying to not feeling so good. They don't have the time to sit in front of a stove, make bone broth, unless they have a significant other or a grandma or somebody that can do it. So for the kids, for people, even adults, that you just need it quick and accessible, easy peasy. And then I like this sauce personally. Maybe some of you folks won't agree with me. They come in glass jars. I reuse the glass jars. But when these get down to just a couple of bucks or under, I buy them. I buy them because I like them. Tomato and basil is amazing. I prefer fresh tomatoes and fresh basil for my own garden, but in a pinch, this stuff to me is pretty solid. I don't know. Let me down in the comments of your thoughts. We're getting ready to move into territory that I always get some slack for. But so this is my daughter's favorite ramen. It is the creamy chicken. I always buy, when you buy it this big or buy it in the case, the whole case, it's dirt cheap. I think it comes down to like 17, 18 cents. And depending on where you buy it at, I shop around and try to get the best deal possible. And that's what she likes. No one else in the home eats it. Well, the wife will eat that sometimes. I tried the cup of noodles. She doesn't like those for some reason. They store better. They taste better. They're extremely a lot more healthier than this stuff here. This stuff is truly, the sodium content in there is crazy. Now, of course, you can remove the packet and add your own spices to that and, save yourself on the sodium content. But the process that they make these noodles, I'm not a big fan of. But again, it's not just for me, it's for the family. And so when you're building your pantry, you want to make sure that you have things not that just you like, but your family likes as well, to make everybody happy, especially in tough times. All right, last but never least, almost every pantry haul, you guys see me buying this stuff, which is the modern pantry, Marcel's. You get this at the Dollar Tree. It's $1.25. Used to be $1. Now it's $1.25. I still haven't seen the price go up. And we go through a lot of this. It's so far, it's a UHT, so it lasts long. This is shelf stable milk here. And there's chocolate, and then there's the whole milk. I prefer whole milk. It's just whole milk's more healthier for you from my perspective. I could be wrong from other people's perspective, but people that are lactose intolerant or whatever the issues they may have. But the whole milk works out best for you. You can see it's gone. We have none. I'm filling it up, and then on the next sale, I have a couple orders. That's why you kind of see this in a box here. It's in a box. I buy it by the case now. Buy a couple of cases, and probably about three to four cases will last us a year. And we keep this on there. Like you said, it says shelf stable, gluten free, whole milk, vitamin D, UHT, ultra processed, or not ultra processed. It's a heating technique, the UHT. Look it up, check it out. And then a lot of people always say that the chocolate milk doesn't exist. Maybe not in your neck of the woods, but when I find it here locally, I buy it. As you can see, we still have it. But grandkids, kids, neighborhood kids, whatever that happens to be around, when people ask for chocolate milk, they love this stuff. And you can heat it up and use it for a warm day, like a hot chocolate. It tastes pretty good. It's not bad stuff, folks. It tastes, as I say, great taste, real milk. A lot of people are familiar with this in the prepper family of things. A lot of folks seem to like this versus I think it's down there. As you can see, I have variations of some of the Nido and other powdered milks. For some reason, the family prefers this versus powdered milk. I got 12, 13 of those. That's all they had at the time. My case came in and I bought what was on the shelf. Usually they run out of this stuff pretty quick, folks. You want to do is you want to reach out to your Dollar General or Dollar Tree, sorry, and ask them, hey, because you can order it directly to the store and just pick the cases up, and they'll have it for you. You just pay in advance. You pick it up, it's free shipping. If you pick it up at the store versus your house, usually there's a Dollar Tree at every few miles around here, it seems, and you can just pick it up by the case if that makes it easier for you. And then I'm just restocking the chocolate milk. Like I said, I'm a few here and there shy of several, and I like to have a few extra on hand as well, because sometimes I'll pass some of this stuff on to family members and help them out because maybe they're a little bit more financially needy, and I'm in a better position to help others. That's another thing that some people may ask is, when they see some of this stuff, sometimes, folks, I will put little care packages together for someone who's down on their luck or whatever. I've been there. I've lost my job back in the day, and if I lost my job, my family and I would be able to eat for a long period of time without having to come off the cost for food, milk, fruits, vegetables, proteins, and things of that nature. Hopefully all this makes sense. I'll be reading your comments, and we'll see how this resounds with you folks, either watching this for the first time or people that have been following me for quite some time. All right, folks, so that is February 2026 Prepper Pantry Food Haul. Please let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. Do you guys stock the same type of foods? Do you have the same mindset? Do you think it's overboard for a family of three? Are you looking to follow my journey on the off-grid kind of journey that we're going to be on? We do a lot of that now, and we focus in on that. I do these, like I said, every once in a while. If you have questions, how long does something store? How do you store rice for long periods? Flour, any of those type of questions, just leave them down in the comments. I'll do the best I can to answer those comments, as well as direct you to some of the videos that I've done over the last 4 or 5 years so that you can find those videos and kind of see my explanation of how to do these things, and the way I utilize certain products like Mylar, oxygen absorbers, and food savers and vacuum sealers, and just all that kind of stuff like that will help you understand how to preserve some of these foods a lot longer than you would normally have it. Because remember, this is a controlled environment that I'm in. It is a cool, dark, dry place. Everything is monitored, the temperature, the humidity. Right now, of course, there's like 5 lights on me. I feel like I'm in a studio environment, which I'm not. And I've literally built this pantry. If you haven't seen, I started this. If you watch when I first put shelves in, I got the wrong shelves. They didn't work. Then we went to the metal shelves. Like I said, there's a journey here. And if you want to see my mistakes and learn from those mistakes, I have that playlist. Again, like I said, it's a prepper pantry, food preservation playlist that would be helpful to you if you're trying to just start out, because this is not just starting out. A lot of people see this and get freaked out. Like, I don't have that kind of money. And I get it. You want to do like BOGOs and buy ones and just slowly add to that. And then eventually it will look like this, depending on the size of your family. Again, you want to see the whole shebang. I did that home grocery store, which is a very popular video that I did last year. People seem to really enjoy that. It's a long video, but people, again, they were highly engaged and wanted to see each individual step of this. They looked at my medical pantry. We also discussed water storage, because people always say, hey, do you have water? People ask lots of questions, you know, about the gardening thing. Do you can? Do you freeze dry? Do you do that? We do it all. You want to have layers to your pantry. You want to have layers to your food security. So yes, you want to grow a garden. You want to have fresh vegetables, not canned goods. Canned goods come in a pinch, right? You want to have fresh vegetables, fresh fruits, and things like that. So grow your own. But this, if you have a bad harvest, this is going to sustain you until you get your next grow. Hopefully you understand where I'm coming from and why I do the things I do. I'm just not some lunatic here on YouTube just showing you a bunch of food and tell you, run out, you're going to die if you don't do this. No, folks, this is just a practical look at why you should have your own food pantry, because they don't make houses like they used to. Think about your grandparents and your great-grandparents. They all had cellars, you know, where they canned a lot of their foods. We do canning, but I've kind of moved more towards, I've left the dehydrating and canning and kind of moved into the freeze drying, since I have a freeze dryer now. Hopefully that, you know, that makes sense to you, just because it just does a better job at making food last a lot longer and keeping the nutritional value of those foods, especially things out of the garden. Anyways, I'll finally wrap this up by saying, look, if you have any questions at all, please put them down in the comments. If you had any value of this video, hitting that thumbs up button is truly, truly appreciated. But the folks that watch from beginning to end and drop comments, share these videos out, post them on their social media, and just kind of expose other folks to this and just kind of give them an idea. Put it on your Instagram, your Twitter/X, your Facebook, any of your groups you're in, prepper groups and things like that, that might get some value out of something like this and just get a different perspective on the type of foods that I use. And then look at some of the playlists, because there's foods that I'm missing, like the canned bread. People were amazed by the canned bread. The milk that I use and why it lasts over a year. I buy enough for every 6 months and I'm just cycling through that milk. The cacao powder, there's just so many different things. The butters, I'm looking around at the apple cider vinegar and all the other things that are in here, the spices, the salts, all the other added ingredients that you would use to make meals out of this stuff. Another question that was asked a lot is, do you do cooking with your preps? I do. They don't get much views, but I do. I cook with a lot of the Keystone. I've done 3 or 4 cooking with Grey videos. I guess some people love them. Some people just don't watch them. I don't know. YouTube does what it wants to do when it comes to that type of material. But I do that. I do say, how do I take this and this and this and that, make it into a meal and feed the family when you need to do that? Again, I'm in Florida. We have hurricanes. We have blackouts. We have severe storms. We have really bad heat. And this year we had extreme cold and the power goes out. You can't cook. So make sure you understand that you have can openers. You have ways to cook these products. Some things you can eat right out of the can. But hopefully you understand my processes. Outside of that, remember, folks, you are not alone. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the rebound. God bless all you amazing people out there. And truly, truly appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video.